Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, whatever the time local is for you when you see my show. And it's wonderful to have you with me and to explore topics which are really interesting. Um, and sometimes uh, when it's on my heart, sometimes it's around the stroke uh, issues. Sometimes it's not, and sometimes, mm, most of the time, I have a guest, and they're very fascinating people. And sometimes they had a stroke. Sometimes they help strokes, uh, help the stroke community, or sometimes they're just cool to talk with them. And I love it. And I'd love to have this opportunity to visit with you. So, what I'm talking about today is aphasia. But I know I've talked about it in the past, but um, aphasia is a communication disorder. It can be anything from you have difficulty speaking, it can be you have difficulty um, hearing, or you can have difficulty seeing in a way to communicate. And um, it's a crazy condition. And you know that there's probably five main ways, so to speak, that people get aphasia or speech or the communication disorder. Um, I could have um, the expressive aphasia, and and that means I have difficulty sometimes telling you what's on my mind, and and I know that it's because of the strokes. It's because one of the stroke. Um, then the second stroke took out my motion of my right side of my body, but um, I'm still with the stroke issues, with the aphasia issues. I About 3 years ago, I was on a call with a lot of people that were from Europe, and English wasn't their first language, and we were having the conversation, the conference in English, and as I sat there and as I listened to others, I realized we all have accents. And I just said, now I'm going to say I have an accent because it's different than it was before the strokes. And so I need to acknowledge to me and to others, I have an accent for now. And but anyways, there's five main causes for aphasia, and that is stroke. That probably about, anyways, it depends on the studies. 25 to 40% of stroke survivors um, have aphasia, either a little bit or, like my case, right after the strokes, I really couldn't say much. And I'm grateful I could read still. I could hear and understand perfectly. But to say what was on my mind was difficult at first. And now it's just annoying, or um, it just, it is what it is. And I just, now I tell others I have some difficulty speaking, so bear with me. And it's worse when I am excited or upset, either mad or sad um, or even laughing. Uh, but it means that I will to have some difficulty speaking what's on my mind. Gratefully, most of the time I can read better than I can just speaking off the cuff, so to speak. But anyways, stroke is one, head injury is another. And earlier this year, um, I found out that a man who is at my church, and I found out that he has aphasia. He had it from his head injury about 5 years ago. So, and again, like many of us, he almost, I feel, embarrassed to tell him what my condition is. But that's when that was when I first, the first year after the strokes, I would be a little bit embarrassed. But I've learned it doesn't matter. First of all, the aphasia has no problems. It does not discriminate. It goes wherever it's going to go. And I've learned that I just deal with it, and I will deal with it as best I can. And then hopefully, who I'm communicating with can deal with it. And but anyways, that's the second situation. The third is brain tumors, and so know that maybe it can be a side effect of the brain tumors, either when they're treating the tumor or afterwards when they're in remission, they can have aphasia as a side effect of the issue of the condition. And the fourth is neurodegenerative diseases. So basically, like Alzheimer disease and other forms of dementia can gradually invite aphasia, and you have to deal with that. And migraines is another interesting thing. Migraines, complex migraines, can lead to aphasia. And I had migraines about 3 or 4 times a year. They would last for at least 3 to 5 days at a time. It started when I was in high school, but I just dealt with that. It's really crazy. When I had the strokes, the headaches and the migraines all went away, and I haven't had it ever since. It's wild, but and so that's you have to be careful about when you're dealing with a neurodegenerative disease, or have with someone else, your loved one is having a neurodegenerative disease, they can develop aphasia. So be aware. And 5, infection and other causes that affects the brain. And it's less common, but it can happen, especially when you get a brain infection. It's called encephalitis. And it also can affect there can be stroke-like events, and it can be caused again by migraines, and so it's crazy. And so when you realize that it is an equal opportunity event, it happens. And so just remember that when you are dealing with someone who has this aphasia, understand that from my viewpoint, we're not deaf. We can hear, probably can hear normal, or maybe if they have difficulty hearing or understanding what you said to them, it doesn't help when you speak louder, and in most cases that won't matter. And when you understand the root of the cause is aphasia, then you understand you can have some grace and be patient. And eventually we'll find a way to get my point across, or which the aphasia patient can get across to you, and to realize they're doing their best job. And if you have a little more patience and some grace, you eventually will get through the interaction. So, I think that's about it talks about there's lots of different ways that aphasia can show up, but know that if you're affected by aphasia, you will deal with it the best you can, and hopefully those who are around you will the best that they can. All right. Um, just remember, community helps immensely. So be if you are not in a stroke, support group for aphasia, please seek it out. That help. Really, it's only maybe once a month or once a week. It helps because I remember way back when I was in outpatient therapy, and I got discharged from speech therapy, and I remember the woman, the speech therapist, said to me, "Really, you need to go out and talk and as much as you can." And I realized I didn't really understand what she meant um, for almost 11 years. And I'm naturally an introvert. So I used as an excuse to not seek out situations to talk. And I realized, no, I have to do it more and more because repetition helps heal aphasia. All right. Well, I hope that you had found it enlightening, and I hope that I gave one or two tidbits that you can take and go from here. All right. Remember, to your success.